Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am reviewing The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 4, Season 12, Episode 4. I hope that you guys enjoy the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I want to know what your thoughts were. Let's have a dialogue. So let's get right into the video. I just want to start off by saying none of these women like each other. I have come to that conclusion. They don't like each other. They are just here for their paycheck, here to be on TV, and that's about it. They do not. That's the vibe that they're giving me this season. They don't like each other. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I'm not going to go in any particular order, guys. Let's talk about Miss Erica Jane. Erica can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. As far as the OGs are concerned, and when I say OGs, I mean the women who were there when she first came on the show, like Kyle and Lisa Rinna. They just allow this woman to say and do whatever it is that she wants to say and do. They don't question her. They don't check her. She gets a free pass to just do whatever. And then you see people like Garcelle and Crystal and Sutton, not so much Crystal, but definitely, obviously, we've seen Garcelle and Sutton question things and say what's on their mind about Erica. But these other women, it's just Erica can do no wrong. And I think it's because obviously they have seen her handle herself with Eileen. They have seen her handle herself with, who was it? Who was the other victim? Teddy. And then, of course, they saw what she did to Sutton last year. So they're like, ooh, I don't want the wrath of Erica ever. And I just think, listen, you have to be your authentic self. And I know that y'all have questions that you're not getting answers to. I know that some of the things that this woman is sitting up here saying, you guys feel some type of way about. And I just think it's terrible that they're not checking her. And let me throw Dorit up in that conversation as well. Like, girl, did y'all hear what this woman said talking about the people that are accusing her and her husband of not paying them are basically lying? Could potentially be lying. And in the same breath before that, she said, oh, when Garcelle tried to check her about, listen, everything would have been good with you and you wouldn't have gone through so much if you would have just said that you were sorry for what happened to these victims. And she's like, oh, well, I couldn't say that I was sorry because anything that I say, they can implement that against me. Girl, no, they can't. You have a civil case. You don't have a criminal case. Your case is a civil case. They just want to make sure that they're following the money and whatever's going on with that money is being distributed the right way. So you sitting up here saying that you telling me you couldn't just make a statement like, listen, I don't know the ins and the outs of the case whatsoever. I can't tell you what my husband was and wasn't doing, but what I can say is that if this is the case, my prayers and my thoughts are to these families, because this is something that is horrible and I've never known him to do. Like, the list goes on and on of things that you could have said that would not have put you in a bad light. But then now you're telling me a year later, when the same cases are still going on, mind you, that you're going to sit here and say that these people are lying. So make that make sense. Can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. As far as the OGs are concerned, and when I say OGs, I mean the women who were there when she first came on the show, like Kyle and Lisa Rinna. They just allow this woman to say and do whatever it is that she wants to say and do. They don't question her. They don't check her. She gets a free pass to just do whatever. And then you see people like Garcelle and Crystal and Sutton, not so much Crystal, but definitely, obviously, we've seen Garcelle and Sutton question things and say what's on their mind about Erica. But these other women, it's just Erica can do no wrong. And I think it's because obviously they have seen her handle herself with Eileen. They have seen her handle herself with, who was it? Who was the other victim? Teddy. And then, of course, they saw what she did to Sutton last year. So they're like, ooh, I don't want the wrath of Erica ever. And I just think, listen, you have to be your authentic self. And I know that y'all have questions that you're not getting answers to. I know that some of the things that this woman is sitting up here saying, you guys feel some type of way about. And I just think it's terrible that they're not checking her. And let me throw Dorit up in that conversation as well. Like, girl, did y'all hear what this woman said talking about the people that are accusing her and her husband of not paying them are basically lying, could potentially be lying. And in the same breath before that, she said, oh, when Garcelle tried to check her about, listen, everything would have been good with you and you wouldn't have gone through so much if you would have just said that you were sorry for what happened to these victims. And she's like, oh, well, I couldn't say that I was sorry because anything that I say, they can implement that against me. Girl, no, they can't. You have a civil case. You don't have a criminal case. Your case is a civil case. They just want to make sure that they're following the money and whatever's going on with that money is being distributed the right way. So you sitting up here saying that you telling me you couldn't just make a statement like, listen, I don't know the ins and the outs of the case whatsoever. I can't tell you what my husband was and wasn't doing, but what I can say is that if this is the case, my prayers and my thoughts are to these families, because this is something that is horrible and I've never known him to do. Like, the list goes on and on of things that you could have said that would not have put you in a bad light. But then now you're telling me a year later, when the same cases are still going on, mind you, that you're going to sit here and say that these people are lying. So make that make sense. That just really made me mad, because it's just like, you have no remorse. You don't care. All you care about is yourself. And that's exactly why you find yourself in the predicament that you're in. I'm just saying. Y'all, Garcelle is my girl. Like, I really like Garcelle. I love her on the show. But right now, this year, this season, she's doing too much. I'm going to need her to pipe down a little bit. I don't need you to be another pot stirrer like Kyle is. Last year, I felt like you were doing too little to help yourself. And this year, I think that you're just doing too much. So I'm going to need you to calm it down, Garcelle, and just relax yourself. The whole conversation that the women had with Crystal and you trying to bring up the fact that you felt like Crystal was setting up Sutton, it's not connecting. The dots are not connecting for me. I don't know what you're talking about. No, Garcelle. Like, first of all, you weren't there, so you don't know what the conversation was. And if you felt that way, you have had no issue saying what you felt. And I'm not saying she's lying. I'm just saying she's had no issue in the past saying exactly what was on her mind. Garcelle is definitely a person who speaks what she thinks. So to me, if that were the issue where you thought that Crystal was setting up Sutton, even on the reunion show after you saw the whole season play out, you would have said something then. I just think that you're digging because nobody is really bringing anything to the table other than Miss Dorit and this alleged robbery. So no, ma'am. Garcelle, relax a little bit, okay? Don't be like Kyle. Now, if you're going to go over on Team Kyle and do the stuff that she's doing because it looks like you and her are getting real close, I can't with that. I'm going to need you not to do that, Miss Garcelle, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Did y'all peep how disgusting freaking Erica and Lisa Rinna are? First, more so Erica. Well, Lisa, I don't know. This is what I'm talking about when I say that these women just allow Erica to say whatever she wants to say. Did y'all see when she asked this woman could she wipe her hands on her garments? Like, and Lisa just was like, yeah. Why would you feel bad about that? Or why would that be an issue? Girl, because she's wiping her dirty hands on your clothing. She could easily go, the kitchen is right there, like right off of the little patio area that they're sitting on. She could have easily walked herself, sashayed her little Erica Jane self right on into that kitchen and grabbed herself a napkin. Instead, your black, flowy, whatever you call that thing was on her side of the couch, and she talking about, can she wipe her hands on it? No, ma'am. Like, what? No, that's just, first of all, I've never even seen anybody's, like, the audacity to say that, but that just lets you know she can get away with whatever she wants to get away with. I'm trying to tell y'all something. Now, I must admit, the first time I wasn't really paying attention to Kyle's dogs like that, other than the fact that I just thought, gag. They have better camera time than Kyle actually does on the show. But I've been watching these dogs, and this is now the second time that one of these dogs then took somebody's food clear off their plate. And did y'all peep that freaking Dorit continued to look like she was going to continue to eat her food? Nasty. There is a time and a place for you to have your dogs. I don't understand. I don't think Kyle's husband had anything to do in terms of leaving the house for long, extensive periods of time. I think that she has like 1 or 2 daughters at home, and she probably has help around her house as well. Girl, you could have left them dogs at home. Okay, the only person that had the audacity to say anything was Garcelle when she was like, your dogs are doing too much or whatever it was that she said. But I'm just like, Kyle. And I'm just looking at these other women like, that's nasty. The dog is eating off your plate and you gonna eat after this dog? Really? Nasty. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Like, no. I just can't. I just can't. Can't. I put that Dorit is self-centered. I feel like everything is now going to be about this robbery with her. She only cares about herself. When Sutton was hosting her event, she was upset a little bit that Sutton had the paparazzi there. Like, what is the woman supposed to do? Think about you, of all the guests and all the people that she had there. And not to mention the designer who's presenting his clothing. She's supposed to say, I'm sorry, we can't have the paparazzi here because it's going to trigger Dorit. No, Dorit, no. And not to mention, like, you went to Kyle's event. I'm pretty sure there was paparazzi there. You are filming a whole reality TV show right now. You don't seem to have problem with the cameras and everybody in your face. So how is Sutton's event triggering you? Please explain that. Explain yourself, please. Then we see in another clip that Lisa Rinna has texted her, and I'm talking about text Dorit about whatever is going on, or text the group of women about whatever is going on with her mother. Rest in peace, Miss Lois. I really enjoyed her when she was on the show. We do later obviously know that Miss Lois passed away, but prior to her passing away, Rinna must have sent out a text to everybody letting them know what was going on with her. And here goes Dorit in her confessional, reading the daggone text like she's auditioning for a soap opera. And then she had the nerve when Crystal was sharing that she felt unsafe with the group. She had the nerve to say, considering what I've been through, this is nothing. And then PK with his, I don't want to, and then PK talking about he don't want to take care of himself and eat healthy with his diabetes. She's like, on top of everything that I'm going through, I have to go through this as well. Girl, we're not going to make this whole season about your robbery, okay? That's what we're not going to do, your alleged robbery. You seem, in my opinion, just fine on screen. I'm going to need you to relax about this. Like, let's not make this all about you. Everything that somebody says, you bring it back to yourself. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. I don't have time for that. Okay, Dorit? So get it together. Another thing that I really don't understand about Dorit is when she talks about leaving her house. Now, the robbery took place in her house. So why do you have so much anxiety leaving your house? I'm not a medical professional. Obviously, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist, even though I do work for one. I just don't understand why the place that it happened wouldn't trigger you more. I just feel like if it were me, it would be hard for me to stay in the same house that everything transpired at, to sleep in the same room that everything happened at. So the whole anxiety thing when she leaves the house, I don't understand. I also think that she contradicts herself when her husband suggests that she go to Mexico with a couple of her close friends to kind of put this whole thing behind her and go back to her normal way of life. If the woman has anxiety leaving her house, why would you suggest she leave her house? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying she got to be trapped in the house, but like, if she has anxiety leaving, why would you suggest she go on this trip? these are the things, these are the inconsistencies, these are the contradictions that I think people are, that are the reason why I feel like people feel the way that they feel about them, and this, and the reason why we're all calling this like an alleged robbery, because your actions are not lining up with what actually happened. And I have a whole video about, is this robbery real or staged, that you can check out. I'm going to try to leave it here for you guys. But yeah, I'm just not, it's not making sense to me. And my whole thing is, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Can't explain what doesn't make sense. So I know a lot of people are saying that Miss Diana favors Yolanda from whatever season that Yolanda was on the show. But to me, she really favors, I find her to be like a cross between Caitlyn Jenner and, who was the other person? Caitlyn Jenner and Kathy Hilton. That's the vibe, appearance wise, that Diana is giving me. So Diana has this thing where she claims that she is allergic to dust. Dust is everywhere. So how are you allergic to dust? Number one. I don't understand. Like, is that a thing? Maybe it is a thing and I don't know it's a thing. But she doesn't shop in stores because of the dust, and her eyes well up and this, that, and the third. And I'm just trying to figure out, before you got your money, what was life like when you had to go to the stores and actually shop? You know what I'm saying? Like, sounds real, sounds real high maintenance what she's saying. All the designers come to me because I can't go to the store, but it don't make sense in terms of, girl, before you got this money, you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You said you were from the ghetto. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of dust in the ghetto. So how were you able to take care of yourself then? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So I'm not really feeling Miss Diana. I'm just not. For Crystal, I put, girl, please use your words wisely. Use the context that you're using the words wisely. I know that she has this little thing where she, knows what the meanings of the words that she's using are and everything. But when you sit there to these group of women, or to any group of people, and you're saying that somebody said something dark, and then you're not willing to share what that is, like, I believe it was Erica, like Renna, you can insert whatever you want. Whoever you're saying that to can insert whatever they want in that empty space that you've left to create whatever narrative they want to create. It's not fair to Sutton, and if it is something about race, it's not fair to Garcelle either, because she is going to bat for Sutton. So I really just feel like Crystal needs to do a better job of her presentation and the words that she's using. I thought it was funny when she basically alluded to the fact that Kyle is a drunk. I read between those lines. She's basically saying, Kyle, you're a drunk and you didn't hear what I said. And Kyle didn't even barely flinch when she said that. Like, yeah, it looked like Kyle was just like, yeah, I probably was drunk. And nobody else said anything either. So it was just like, she probably was drunk. I think I remember that day. Yeah, she was drunk. I just thought that that was so funny that she called her out like that. Like, I wouldn't expect you to remember. You were drunk. At the end of the day, with the whole information that supposedly Crystal has, I don't think that these women care, okay? Race is not something that they talk about, and because it's not something that affects them. So they don't seem to be so hot and bothered by it, as of course Kyle is, and as of course Garcelle is. Now Garcelle, I can understand. Kyle, we know that she just wants to stir the pot with as many things involving Sutton as she can, because it's basically the OGs versus Sutton. That's what it's looking like. What I love about Garcelle, like I said earlier, is her ability to say what she feels and say what she's thinking. And when she called Kyle a pot stirrer to her face, I was here for it 100%. And not only was I here for it, did you see Lisa Rinna co-signing on that? Now, Lisa Rinna is supposed to be one of Kyle's best friends on the show. And she's agreeing with Garcelle, like, yeah, girl, you a pot stirrer. So if Lisa Rinna agrees with you, because she's a pot stirrer too, you must be a pot stirrer because it takes one to know one. So Garcelle, with her shady self, takes a call from her son, who tells her that he's gotten a job with Lisa Vanderpump. So she goes back to the group and is like, guess who my son got this job by? And they're like, who? Somebody said PK. And I was wondering, like, what does PK really do? I don't want to say that I thought he was Boy George's assistant, but I guess he's like, I don't know what he is, to be honest with you. I know he does something with Boy George. Is it Boy George? It is Boy George. I know he does something with him, but like, what kind of company or anything like that is he running that Garcelle's son would be working with him? I just want to know. So if you know, let me know. But Garcelle says no, it's Lisa Vanderpump, and them women fled the scene like there was like the Reese robbers had come to rob them. Okay, they went in every which direction, and I'm just like, dang, Lisa Vanderpump's name holds a lot of weight. I miss Lisa Vanderpump. Shout out to her, but I just thought like her name caused that type of reaction because I've seen this show since it started, and I don't feel no type of way like in terms of why they would respond that way, especially given how many years have passed since this whole issue with since Lisa Vanderpump was on the show. So now we're at Sutton's event, and I gotta say, like, Sutton, I like her style. I like her couture style. I thought the dress that she had on was very fitting for her. It's very Sutton-esque, so I was here for it. Here we go, Mr. Reed with the whole paparazzi thing, and she's basically saying in her confessional that she can't talk about the events to anyone other than close family and friends. Once again, Dorit, you are on a reality show. You have seemed to have had no problem talking about this incident to the cameras and to whoever else will listen. So I'm not buying it, girl. I'm not. So Erica, they pan over to Erica's house, and we know that she's not going to Sutton's event, even though Sutton invited the group. She's not going, and I'm just sitting there looking at this scene like, why is Mikey still here? Why is her creative director still here? Like, I thought his job was just for when she was Erica Jane and she was on the stage and stuff like that. But I see that he's still employed by her, and then she has this assistant, and they both just seem to be on Facebook, just doing whatever they want to do. It's like, it's late at night. Like, what work can they possibly be doing for you, girl? So at the event, Sutton's event, here goes Miss Kyle stirring the pot, which she says she does not do. Miss Kyle says that she's a fixer. I have yet to see her fix one thing on this show, including her relationship with her sister, Kim. Okay? When you can straighten that out, then we can talk. When you can fix your relationship, your broken relationship with Lisa Vanderpump, then we can talk about you being a fixer. But until then, I'm going to need you to zip it. So Kyle basically goes to Sutton, and she's telling Sutton about what Crystal said, and Sutton is not bothered by it at all. She's like, listen, we're at a different place. I'm paraphrasing. She's like, we're at a different place, and why would I want to mess that up? Why would I try to tear that down? So she's paying dust, the dust that Diana can't seem to handle. She's paying dust to that whole situation. In Kyle's confessional, she's like, you know, last year, Dory, last year Sutton was like a mess basically, and she was crying every time and unstable, and this year she's just nice and calm. Like, she can't figure it out. The girl saw how she behaved herself on camera and was like, I'm not gonna let these group of women have the best of me again. So I'm gonna make sure I put on a tough exterior. If Erica tries to come for me, I'm coming for her, and that's that. That's Miss Sutton this year, and I'm here for it. I'm loving the fact that Sutton is defending herself with Erica. I'm loving the fact that she's not backing down, and we see as the viewers, when you talk back to Erica, when you give her what she's saying to you, she pipes it on down. She calms herself, or she regulates herself, okay? All you got to do is let Erica know what it is, and Erica is all bark, no chew. Simple as that. So Garcelle and Kyle are talking about this whole Crystal thing, and Crystal is there, and they share with her what's going on. And again, Garcelle, you need to steer clear of Kyle. She's not your friend. The first chance she has to do something to you, trust and believe she's going to do it. So Crystal, all of the ladies wind up being there talking about this whole Sutton thing. Sutton says that she doesn't recall saying anything for the most part, just paraphrasing, Sutton is denying saying anything disparaging. Kyle, I thought she was hilarious when Crystal said to her, "You probably don't remember." She was like, "Stop saying that I don't remember. I don't like it." I got a big laugh out of that. I don't know. I rewinded that like 5 times, but I thought it was just hilarious the way that she said it. Like she was almost seemed like she was almost on the verge of just having a little breakdown. Like, stop saying that. Stop saying that. I just thought it was funny. I also thought it was interesting that when Sutton did approach the conversation, Kyle sat up there and said, when Sutton was basically asking, "Can I come into the conversation?" Kyle was like, "Yeah, come on in. This is a conversation about you." Girl, where was that same energy the other couple of episodes ago when you guys were sitting there, when you specifically were sitting there talking about how Sutton responded to the whole Dorit robbery incident? The contradiction of it all. So Crystal is still saying that she is not going to share with the group what this thing is that Sutton said. She's saying she and Sutton buried the hatchet. They're cool. Everything is well. She's not going to share it. And I agree with the rest of the women. Why bring it up if you're not going to say what it is? Can't you wrap your mind? Like, she's a very smart woman. So can't you wrap your mind around why they would feel like they want to know? And particularly, again, why Garcelle might want to know, being that her and Sutton are such good friends. And this could be something about race that Sutton said. And then the episode just ends basically with Dorit going through a counseling session, and there's nothing really there that I want to talk about. I'm so over Dorit already, and we're only 4 seasons in. 4 seasons. We're only 4 episodes in. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.